Welcome to my program of Glory Restoration Hour that has been coming to you, my viewers and my listeners all over the world. I just want to thank the Lord for the way He's speaking to you and to me through this program. And I want to say that I promised you that I will be a blessing to you. And I just request you, when you listen to this program and you feel it's a blessing to you, share it to somebody. Extend it to somebody. Let somebody else receive the blessings that are in the Word of God that I am preaching today. I recorded a program just yesterday on the power that is in the male child, the strength that God has deposited in a male child. And I was saying it's very important for parents to protect their children. It's very important for parents to protect their children. And as I was reading about the mother of Moses, how she protected Moses in evil days when the king of Egypt and declared war against all the baby boys. And we see in the same chapter, that is the second chapter of Exodus, verses 1 and verses 2, verses 4, we see how Miriam was left to watch his brother. He was left to watch his brother when the mother was not able to hide the child after she meant to hide him for 3 months, and now the battle was so hot. She looked for another way, and this was just to make something good, a good basket which could not allow water in, and she laid it in the bag of river Nile, because in her she wanted that Moses will not be drowned, Moses will not die as other children are dying, and she purposely prepared a basket to protect this child. And the Bible says that Miriam, was left to watch, and she told Miriam, watch over your brother. And I feel this is something that parents, we need to watch and to mind about. Whom do we leave behind with our children? Are we not the people who are so careless when it comes to children? We don't care who remains behind with our children. You find you can leave your child with anybody. The mother of Moses did not leave Moses behind with anybody. She was very selective. She did not leave Moses with his uncle. She did not leave Moses with his neighbor, but he left Moses on the hands of his elder sister, because she believed that Miriam could do nothing to Moses. He could not harm Moses. And this is something that parents, we need to take care and to think much about it, because we are so careless. We leave everybody to take care of our children. We trust people, we trust our relatives, but we are not so much familiar with their character. And this is when you hear things are happening against our children. We are living in days when children are getting initiated to satanic worship, and they that are doing that are our friends, they are our neighbors, they are our relatives. Others, even, they are sorting them, they are abusing them. But you find these people, you trusted them with your children. You leave your child for a long time, but the person whom you have left him behind with your child, you don't care. We are living in days even when parents have trusted ourselves, especially we mothers, we trust our househelps so much that even we are not familiar with our houses. You find you are a mother, you don't know how your house looks like. You don't know the house help has so much information about your home more than you have. You find the house help has so much information about your children than you, yet you are the mother. It's very important to understand that we are living in very dangerous days. And as I say, that children are born with spiritual vacuum. And if we are not going to protect our children, somebody else will dip in things that will trouble our children in the future. They will impart things, they will impart doctrine, they will impart cults in that vacuum. And when that child glows, when you are left with that child, you find you cannot control that child. You cannot control that child because somebody else met with this child when he was growing up, when he was young. And you were not able to discover this. And when the child grows up, you find there are things that this child is battling with that the parents, they don't know about the foundation. I spoke and I said, this man was called Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth was not born crippled, but he was crippled by house help who was taking care of him. It's very important to understand that if you are not careful, your children can get crippled by the people whom we live behind with, to take care of them, to nurse them. They are fed badly. Sometimes children, they get hurt, but they don't say. They get assaulted, but they don't speak it. But this thing continued to grow inside of them. And when they grow up, they begin to react because something happened when they were growing up, which the parents were not aware of. And many children, they have grown up so bitter and so frustrated. And when you talk to a child, they say, my mother is not available for me. I am a pastor, a spiritual leader, and I thank God for the gifts that he has given unto me, even allowing me to be a counselor, a spiritual counselor to young people, primary school children, secondary school children. I've seen them come to me and they open up their hearts to me. They talk to me. They tell me even things that even they have been keeping inside of them, but you find they have not told their parents. And this one helps me to understand there are things that children, they suffer in secret. And you find Eric can continue to disturb him for years and years. In fact, I came to realize their parents, they are staying with their children, but they don't know them at all. You don't know your child. Because as long as you don't relate with your child, as long as you don't have time with your child, you don't know him. And the time this child will now begin to manifest himself to you, you will be shocked. You will say, this is not my child. And that's why I want to call parents back to the position that God gave unto them. We are managers. We have been trusted with these children, so we are managers. And we will account before God. We will give an account before God. We must protect our children. We must pray for our children. As parents, you must make sure before your children have gone to sleep, you have seen them. And even when they woke up, you make sure you have seen them. Because many children, even they get injured when they go to sleep. They get attacks when they go to sleep. And they wake up and they go to school so bitter. But you yourself, because you did not have time with this child when he was going to sleep. And even when he wakes up, you did not see him. You end up losing your child when you don't know. Get to know who is the friend of your child. Get to know. Hide your child. And the only way you can hide your child is be familiar with your child. Pray for your child. Get to know who is relating with my child. Get to know where is my child eating. If the child is not eating in your house, where is he eating? Where is he eating? Because their parents, they don't care whether the child eats or does not eat, so long as he sees the child. But you don't ask yourself, did the food that my child had today, who cooked it? Is it me? Is it my house help? Or the child had in my neighbor's house? But who is that neighbor? My child goes to eat there. Especially the time that we are living in. Parents, I say this, take care of your baby. Take care of your child. If your child is below 18, It depends on you for everything. It depends on you for everything. If your child is in school and he has money, and you are not the one who is giving the child the money, try to ask the child, who gives you this money? And I'm not the one who has given you the money. Who is paying your hostel where you are staying in school? And I'm not the one who is doing it. Who is giving you this money? I've seen you with a new dress. Who has bought it for you? These are things that many parents are careless about. And these are things that the enemy, especially this time, if parents were not gonna pray and protect the young generation, I'm telling you, 40 years to come, there will be no church. There will be no church. I was telling my church the other day to rise up and pray for the young generation, because that is the target of the enemy. The devil knows that his days are counted. We are in the last days, and the enemy is trying to gather for himself an army. And what he is doing, he has targeted the young people. He knows we who are grown up, already we know what we want. But he knows there is a generation down there that has not discovered itself. They don't know what they want. And because they don't know what they want, he has sent his agents who are in the ground. They are in many institutions. They are in the marketplaces. They are in clubs. And their work is to initiate young people to destruction, to alcohol, to drugs, to rebelliousness. And that's why, when you look at the generation, the young generation of today, they are so idle. They don't want anything that will hold them. They want freedom, that they may get to do what they want. But this is a tactic of the enemy, because he knows when these young people, when they get engaged and they become busy, he will not have a place. But what he's trying to do is, they don't want to work. They want things that will not hold them. And that's why you see many young people, they are involving themselves, and you hear somebody saying, I have a talent, I want to sing, I'm a musician. Anything that will engage them, they don't want. And I was telling my congregation the other day, if we are not gonna pray, and I want you to write this down, but if we are gonna pray, my prayer is that it will not happen. There will be no professors, there will be no doctors, there will be no teachers, because the generation that is there, it's so much confused, it's like they don't know what they want. It's like they have been manipulated in a way, and that's why you see many parents are very frustrated. You take a child to school, you take him to university, he masters the degree, but when he comes, he tells you something, you cannot believe it. He tells you, I want to become a musician. I want to, just something that will not make him committed, something that does not need integrity, something that does not mind about character and integrity. We need to pray and to cry for the young generation. We need to cry, parents. We need to talk to our children. We need to speak to them. We need to pray for them. Because the enemy is after the young generation. And that's why many parents are very frustrated. Very frustrated. You take a child to school, you invest, you put in your money, But when you are waiting for him to work, he refuses to work. What is this? What is happening? Do you ask yourself? Because sometimes we see things happening and we think it's normal. It's not normal. There is an hand of the enemy in what is happening. The enemy is after a young generation. And that's why today, many parents, when you take your child to secondary school, battle starts. When he was in the primary school, there was peace. But the moment that child jumps into a secondary school, he meets somebody whom even you don't know him or her. He manipulates that mind of that child. The child begins to talk something else. The child begins to become rebellious. The child begins, many things are happening. And you come to realize when your child is something else. You find the child he becomes even bank seller, and even you don't know. I was talking to another girl who was brought to me. And she was troubling her parents, moving from one school, secondary school, to another. And the parents, they did not understand what was happening. Whenever she goes to a school, she stays for just a short time and she says, I want to go to another school. And when she says she wants to go to another school, she already asked the name of the school that she wants to go. And sometimes even she could get sick to convince the parents that she's not supposed to go back to the school that she was. And from Form 1 to Form 2, she had gone to 5 schools. 5 schools. And the girl was brought to me. And I gave the parents time just to go out and I talked with the child. And the girl was open. But what she told me, she said, don't tell my parents, because we are taught not to say. I asked her, what is that your parents should not hear? She told me, it's a covenant. We should not talk about it. And I tried to speak to her. I prayed for her and I told her, I assure you, if you speak it, you are safe. God will protect you. And she started opening up. And she told me when I was in Form 1, I was initiated to satanic worship.